Greetings, everyone. It's Mar. I hope you all have had a happy holidays and we made it through 2020 and we're now entering 2021. Hopefully, things are better. It's me knocking on the wooden frame of my bed. I know there's always been some exciting things, but I'm not here to discuss any of that. As you can tell from the title, this is going to be a what to expect from this channel this year video. Now, off the bat, the Everybody Loves Raymond episode by episode review series will continue. As of this recording, we only have a couple episodes left in season 2, and then we go to season 3, the blue season, as I will call it, considering that is the color of the outside, and it's also where I feel the show hit its creative stride, a stride that would go for the next few seasons. And depending on how you look at it, even into season 6 and a little bit of 7, but I think that this is where it really begins, and a lot of my favorite episodes are in this season. I'll actually have to bring up the list of the top 10 ones I did to see how many on that list are in this season. I know at least 1 or 2 of them are. Like it has been, I will be continuing at least 1 per week. Some weeks I might throw out 2, not counting like 2-parters. 2-parters are going to be 1 video no matter what. Like when I finally get to the wedding episode this season, I'll probably do that as a secondary one on that. I am going to try to finish the Faulty Tower review. As of this recording, I still got to watch Waldorf Salad. I got the notes somewhere over there for it, so I just got to watch it, sit down, record it. Probably after a little bit after this, I'll sit down and record another Raymond episode review. Season 3, keep going like how I have been. By the end of this year, I'll probably be at the end of season 4, so I should tell you how we keep going. It's going to depend on how often I do the 1 to 2 a week ratio. The Streakathon videos will also continue. I've been getting a little lazy on that. I wish I actually kept doing it week by week. I'd be done with it now, but life and all. I'm going to at least try to get 2 out in the next couple days, as in recording, so that I'll be able to do an alternate release schedule where 1 week a Faulty Towers episode, next week a Streakathon video, alternate it, and then keep the Raymond one for a while. Then once I'm out of Faulty Towers, probably just continue straight on with Streakathon. And with wrestling, I do plan on throwing some more older wrestling videos in there, like the first episode of SmackDown I ever watched once I actually got into it fully, from 2002. Review of the first pay-per-view I watched properly as a fan, which was No Mercy 2002. Review of some of the pay-per-views I went back that same year and watched. Backlash 02, and then of course watching Survivor Series 02. I actually wanted to do that in November, but I wasn't able to get around to it. But hopefully the next couple of years I'll be able to do Survivor Series reviews in November. At least try to get one of them out of the way this coming November, so look forward to that. When it comes to Monster Fest this year, I think this year I tried to do too much with the video essay style, and it swamped me to the point where I just couldn't get the last one I had planned out in time, and that was my review of The Evil Dead. I watched it on Netflix and had all the thoughts and stuff prepared, and I still got some stuff to add to it, but I just wasn't able to. So once I'm done with that one, I'm going to sit on it, and then when Monster Fest comes around this year, that'll be the first one that pops up. And how I'm probably going to go about it is at least 1 video essay per week, 2 depending on it, commentary, and then depending on what I can get in there, probably some more of the Shout Factory horror release reviews where I talk about the features and all that. Now, when it comes to what I have planned other than Evil Dead for this year, one of them is going to be a review of the Candyman trilogy, because I haven't seen 1 and 2 in a while, and I have yet to watch 3 at all. And considering the fact they're making a new one, I think it's topical that I review that trilogy. It's going to be 1 video. With the Evil Dead, I might turn that into a video that's similar where I review the trilogy, and then also give my thoughts on the TV show, but that'd be another show that'd probably be more interesting to watch episode by episode, but that's down the road. So far, I've only ever watched the first season. It was one of the things I used to watch on the way to and from work when I first started working security back in 2015, before I could drive, and had a temporary grave shift at one place and then had to take the bus home from another because my ride not liking to drive at night. Speaking of Candyman, while it's still up here, I am going to do a video giving my thoughts on the teaser trailer for the new Candyman movie. As this time, yes, I have seen the proper trailer, which I thought was pretty cool. But I think just from an analysis perspective, there's more to talk about with the teaser trailer. It's more artistic, and when you actually are looking behind the surface of what it's depicting, it really does personify the meat at the heart of the entire series, or at least when you look at the Candyman character and his backstory, the tragedy of him. Which some of that I will also discuss in the video essay of it, so tying those two things together. I do not know when that one's going to get up. I'm probably going to try to get to it before my birthday, which, by the way, I have that whole week off, so if you see a little bit more productivity coming out before and after that, that'll probably be why. More time to record stuff. And if there's a change in background, it might be because of me being in a different place than I haven't made up my mind yet. Sometime this year, I plan on starting a new video essay series that I've been wanting to do for a while. It is a spin-off of, I forget the name of the Liam Neeson film, but it's that one where he fights the wolves. It's a spin-off of my review of that, where I redid the entire ending, where you could have gotten the same point across, but actually made the ending a little bit more satisfying, and I think that everyone that's commented on that one agrees with me. Now, with it, this is a series that I will entitle Rebooking. Coming up with a title for it was a pain, but I decided to use a wrestling reference with it, and occasionally I might dip this series into the wrestling ring and actually rebook certain wrestling things. But for starters, it's mainly going to be movies and maybe the occasional TV adaptation, but it's mainly going to be films. The ones that I'm going to start with, it's going to be the Elm Street remake. That's not going to be the first one, but that's going to be one of them. It'll probably be one that I throw in for Monster Fest. The Star Wars sequel trilogy, which is why once I act as an aside, I do plan on turning my review of Force Awakens into a actual review. So any other stuff related to the whole trilogy after that will be in the rebooking one, which means I'm going to have to sit down and rewatch all three of the sequel films. And then any thoughts, going to note them down and then reconstrue it. Now, the simple thing would be just redoing 8 and 9 as a whole, but I think there are enough good notes within the films as a whole that you could redo them, which is why one of the parameters for that one is going to be taking the good that is in the existing films, redoing it, and structuring it like if you had these basic ideas from the beginning and you were actually structuring the trilogy from the get-go, a la Lucas's approach to the prequel trilogy. The broader notes, not the minute details, how you'd approach it instead of winging it. Force Awakens will not be the only written review that I'll be turning into a actual video essay review. My Captain Marvel and my Ready Hero 1 will be getting the same treatment. Of course, before that, I'm going to have to rewatch both of them, and then if there's any new thoughts, insert them in there, change some of the stuff. Probably will do that eventually with my Avengers ones, but that will wait, because I actually plan on doing all those as like their whole separate thing, like review all 3 Iron Man films, all 4 Thor films before the new one, Captain American films, etc. So that'll be his whole other separate thing. I don't know when I'll get around to that. I do plan on also reviewing the original King Kong film. I'm going to probably try to do that somewhat time around Easter, and then tackle both remakes right afterwards. The reason for that is that the only time I've actually watched the remake was around Easter, and it was sadly the last Easter I spent with my grandmother, my Grandma Vi. So even if I turn around and hate the film, there will still be at least a little bit of attachment to it that way. It was the last film we watched at Easter. Just like, even if I want to rewatch it, if I hate it, Goblet of Fire will still have some of that value for me right here, because it was the last film I saw in theaters with that grandmother. There's always going to be some. I will also, probably sometime in the summer, because I got to watch a lot of films in order to take notes for this, get around to my Showa Godzilla and professional wrestling video that I've been meaning to do for a couple years. Part of the reason I put the little time thing on that is because I was trying to track down at least a copy to watch of all of them, which is kind of hard to do. Like, you saw when I did my review of Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, how much that single film was on Amazon. You know, I was able to track down other ones for a decent price. Like, some of them you get a time right. Like, I was able to get this DVD for a good price, where if you look everywhere else, it's like, they want how much? But I was able to get to it, so now I just got 3 copies of it. I got a VHS of that, I got it on DVD, and now I got the Blu-ray thanks to the Criterion Showa collection, Which it'd be nice if they did that for the other two ones, but I think Show was probably the only one that's going to get the treatment for it. But it doesn't matter. I got all of them, including, finally, an official copy of King Kong vs. Godzilla in Japanese. I just wish it was on the same disc as the other one, but at least it's on the set. That video should be interesting to do. Just got to do the cover art for it. I already got an idea. Goji Mania's running wild, brother. There will be some more anime-related videos on the channel this year. Once I get back to it, I will finally do my belated review of Sailor Moon R. The only thing I will say here is that I will have to amend something I said in the review of the first one, because going through it, I'm like, this kind of looks familiar. I'm like, oh, I guess my memory wasn't 100%. There is some stuff in this season I did watch. And I'll even have to point out an episode title once I get to it, because it's one of the few things from this season I do remember. I think I already put that in the script. The funny thing is, I have no memory of Chibiusa from this part of the show. I remember her from seeing the original dub of the next season when it was shown on Cartoon Network and on Kids WB a couple times, but nothing from this, which is kind of interesting. I guess some people would go, well, that just shows her character. It shows my memory. I am also going to be doing a sequel of sorts to my Demon Slayer review. It's more, I'd say it's more a spin-off, and that is giving my thoughts on the dub. Because, as you know, when I watched it the first time, they only had the sub on there, and they hadn't released the Blu-ray. Now they have the Blu-ray. The second part is going to be released soon. If you get the special edition of the second part, it's already out, but I'm getting the normal one for it. I mean, I already got most of the musical cues I wanted anyway. And thankfully, all the dub episodes are on Hulu now. So I've just been marathon watching them the past week now, and that'll probably be the next anime-related video you see up there. It's probably going to be off the cuff like this one. I'm not going to give too much thoughts on it, other than, so far, I am vehemently disagreeing with a lot of the comments I see on Demon Slayer-related videos from my fellow fans. But with a couple of them, I'm like, I can see, depending on what you enjoy and all that, why. But I'm going to save that for that video. Of course, once the Demon Slayer movie does hit U.S. shores officially, depending on whether they actually are able to do a theatrical release or they have to send it straight to video. Either way, once it hits, I will watch, and that will be a review that comes up as well. Along with, depending on when I can time it, a re-review of the last My Hero Academia film, and a review of the first one, probably video essay style with those ones. And I'm also going to try to wiggle in reviews of the Sailor Moon movies. I mean, they've been over there for a while. With the first one, it's going to be my first impressions of it. And I know some people are going to be wondering, like, you have any thoughts on the original dubs? With the second two, yeah. Which is why I was able to actually find copies of the three films with the original dub. So I'll probably watch both. And then have a section of each video dedicated to, you know, what I like better in each one. Probably not going to be too bad about it, but maybe one of these days, if I ever sit down and watch the entire original dub, I'll do a video on that. Don't know if I'll be able to get to it this year, or it might be a next year project, but I also want to do a video essay on the filler in Naruto. Might be a two-parter, one for the original, one for Shippuden. With Shippuden, you're going to hear some ranting on that, because some of the filler I've seen in there is like, why? Why? Why do we have clones, shadow clones that are doing this? Why? Just to kill time. Why'd you have to interject an unneeded filler arc right at this moment? Just to kill time. You could have just had the anime go on a month or two hiatus. You didn't need that, but we all know the reason. From the sponsors. Another video essay I want to try to tackle this year. I know the title might not actually be 100% correct, but I think it's kind of catchy, and that is the Forgotten Live-Action Disney Remakes. It's going to be me talking about the 90s live-action version of The Jungle Book, the live-action remake of 101 Dalmatians, that I'll probably also talk a little bit about the sequel, and the made-for-TV film starring Drew Carey, Geppetto. That one I actually did see the night it premiered, and I remember liking it alright, but we'll just see how a couple decades later if it is aged correctly. I haven't even checked to see if it's on Disney Plus, and I know the other two should be. If not, I got one Jungle Book's down there, 101 Dalmatians over there. I got movies all over my room. I just gotta add some more tweaks to it, but the next video essay that's gonna be popping up, I know it's weird to put this nitty into this video, but whatever, is going to be a theater experience for the best of the Star Wars films, The Empire Strikes Back. And in it, I do touch a little bit on the sequels when I'm talking about how I enjoy myself in the theater, but it's not going to be a full thing, just a little bit. There's a couple other things in there I got to put. It's one I know I've been procrastinating on it because I saw the film back in October when theaters briefly opened, and look at this, it's now January. Originally, I was going to do it as an off-the-cuff one like this, but then when I was sitting on it after I edited it, I'm like, you know what, this definitely deserves the full video essay treatment, not something like this. Unless I'm actually recording myself in the theater and you could see a live response thing, but obviously couldn't even do that then. Now, if I'd seen it in theaters at a drive-in, then yeah, full on I could have done that. Hey, maybe next time I go to a drive-in, maybe I'll do that then and be like, well, yeah, oh, that'd be fun. Especially if it's a film I've already seen and I'm seeing it in theaters for the first time. Just a little thing like that. And this is a last minute one. I don't know when I'll get to it, but I do plan on doing some type of a first reactions video, watching a film, editing certain parts of it. I don't know when I'll get to that. It's just something I thought, I'd be interested to try. And I am going to try to get out more commentaries. I don't know what the next one's going to be, but at least before my birthday, I'm going to have at least one new commentary drop. I am going to be uploading some of the older ones that have not been uploaded on the channel, but have been put on different channels that I uploaded. Like the commentary that me, Effrey, and Mike did to the original Highlander should be hitting the page, especially since it's almost 10 years old, so I figure, hey, now's the time. The ones that me and Effrey did of Highlander 2 and 3, I don't think they're still on the other channel we had them on. I'll have to check. I know a couple parts got taken down because of how I had them up, but individually, I want to put it up on this channel so it's archived up there. Should be an interesting project. I only wish that our commentaries of the Texas Chainsaw Massacres had gone well other than 2. 2 is still up on the channel. It's got a decent amount of views too, so that's good. It'd be nice if we ever be able to complete the trilogy. I think that kind of sucked is that he had a good little moment, a line at one moment. In the Cookie Monster. Well, not really. Only other thing is, I don't know if this will be an off-the-cuff video with notes or video essay, but I do plan on reviewing the 2018 God of War video game, hopefully before Ragnarok drops. It took me a while to finally get back to it and play it, but I did beat it. I have played through most of it a second time, gotten a lot of the upgrades and stuff. Even though I haven't beaten the Valkyrie and all that, I've fought enough of them where I got a decent amount of thoughts on them. Seeing enough of the game that I figured, it's about time to review it. Probably shouldn't do it like how I did with Final Fantasy VII, just play through one playthrough, then get my thoughts on it without digging into the deeper stuff of it. So that should be a fun little one. And that's about it. That's the plans for the channel going into this year, and depending how things go, probably the beginning part of next year. So, till next time, guys.